Panhandle Power Wash, go to National Cleaning Expo and sign up for free, guys. Guys, tonight with me, I've got Mr. Michael Draper, and I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Yeah, thanks. No, thanks for having me on, Ron. So yeah, Mike Draper with Expert Safety Services. We have a safety consulting company, the window cleaning and pressure washing industries, and just really glad to be with you tonight.
It's awesome. Good to have you with good to have you there. I'm excited because we're going to do this thing in Florida where we are getting the fall protection trailer out. Don't really know how much you're going to really use it or not use it, but I'm excited to knock the cobwebs off of it. And it's going to be kind of fun.
Yeah, no, I'm glad it's going to be there. And a lot of there's fall protection is one of those things that, especially on residential roofs, it's hey David, it's difficult sometimes because you want to set a fall protection system, but there's not always anchors there. And so what we're going to show, if a lot of guys don't want to install anchors, they don't want to manipulate the roof, and I don't blame them. There's good reasons not to, especially if you don't have the right insurance, you don't have the right liability. So we're going to show at this event, at Trudy's event down there, we're going to show what we talk about all the time with guys is a ground tie. And basically setting up two ground ties and a rope up and over. We're going to show everyone how to do that and how you can basically have a fall protection system at any place, anywhere, very, very simply. And we'll show that. I'm glad that trailer is going to be there. I'm glad that the cobwebs are getting knocked off of it. And we can show a couple different ways. We can show a roof anchor, but we can also show this ground tie method off of it. And it's going to be awesome.
It's awesome. It's awesome that we're going to be out there doing that. Mike, what is the cost of the ground ties versus the difference between actually putting an anchor on the roof that you leave permanently? Is it a increased cost, a lower cost?
Well, so we retail our fall protection kit, which is a complete system with the ground ties, everything you'd need to set up a fall protection system. We retail that for $7.99. But you take it with you. You don't leave it behind. You don't charge the customer for it. There isn't any danger of you messing up the roof. And so, yeah, it's, the problem with, and great, if there's guys out there that want to install anchors, that's great. But for the most part, most guys don't. They don't have the proper insurance. And so, this allows a different alternative.
That's good. That's good. I'm interested in seeing this. How long has the ground thing been existent or been more popular to use versus the one that anchors on the roof? Is it relatively new or?
It's fairly new. I say that the way we're doing it is new. Petzl products, for instance, they've had it in their catalog for years. But it's just, hey, Tom Jurek. Yeah, we've just kind of manipulated it away to where it will work for the type of application that we're using. So, it's not brand new. It's not really that complicated. It's if you wanted to think about it, just you could, if you went over to one side and you tied to a tree or a concrete post or something like that, and you brought the rope back over, that would be one piece of the system. But sometimes on the back of the house, there's not anything back there. So then what do? And we've got these ground stakes, these ground anchors that we use, and we equalize them. We use two of them and equalize them with a Y rope lanyard, and are able to use that in a worst case scenario. So highly effective. A lot of guys are using it at this point.
That's awesome. So it's basically proven.
Yeah,
let's get your name up there, Mike, so they know who the heck we're talking to.
Hey, good. Yeah,
I've had a little bit of feedback, I guess, that I've never had. Kind of odd because I've never had that feedback before. Trying to eliminate it. Let's see.
Yeah, no problem. Trudy Wickham, thank you for having me. Appreciate it. We're looking forward to being at your show. And
Trudy's going to join us here in like 20 minutes. She's going to come on.
Yeah. She's typed here. He removed his tether. So happy the trailer's coming. That's awesome. And even some of the most experienced, I've been in this industry over 30 some years, and I still make mistakes too from time to time. So it's always good to have this awareness of safety. And I appreciate Ron and Trudy and all of you guys, just taking a few minutes to talk about an unpopular subject. Yep, Dave is mentioning tying to hitch of a truck. That is something that's in the kit, David. And so yeah, we try to go both directions. But the Reese hitch anchor will only allow one side of the roof to be protected. So what we need is the other side protected as well, and that's where ground anchors come in really handy. So I guess I'm hosting my own show now, Ron. We'll see what if he comes back here. Hey, Eric, good to see you on here. And yeah, now I am hosting my own show. So I've totally taken this show over. Now we've kicked Ron off. He's not even here anymore. And you gotta love technology when it goes wrong. Yeah, Tom, I think so. Yeah, we started talking about fall protection, and Ron fell off. So wonderful, dramatic exit there. All right, so Ron is saying go with it. So at any rate, yeah. So it's I'm Trudy. I'm glad to be here too. I'm really. I don't know if I think I've met you a couple times, but I don't know for sure, and so I'm looking forward to that. But at any rate, yeah, we've got we're going to talk about fall protection, and we're going to talk about also we're going to talk about respirators, and probably the two biggest things I would say facing our industry. If somebody came to me and said, what are the two big things facing the pressure wash industry and ways that we should be safer, it would be fall protection and respirator use. And so, with the respirators, anytime we're dealing with acids, we're dealing with sodium hypochlorite. If you look at the SDS sheet, the respirator is required. And it's so unfortunate that sometimes we don't want to use them. They're hot. We make all the excuses in the world, but there's several guys in our industry that are having issues, health issues now, long-term exposure to sodium hypochlorite. And so we really want to bring that awareness around and talk about it more. So anyway, that's going to be something we'll talk about too. And we've got kind of an exciting product. We're going to do a couple giveaways tonight right here on this show. And we're going to give away a case of respirators. And what's really cool about these respirators is these are disposable. And the price point on these makes it almost stupid to go out and buy like one of the major name brands, 3M, Broadwell, whatever, because the retail price on a respirator with the cartridges already on it, OV cartridges, is $19. And so if you look at a major brand of respirator and then you look at the cartridges, you're going to be at about $40 minimum. So these are set up for 40 hours, or what we always kind of advocate in our industry is we use the breakthrough method. And that means when you put your respirator on, you just go with the filters until you were to smell whatever product it is you're spraying. So if you have your respirator on, you smell bleach, your filters are shot. So it's time to put new filters in. So, but think about this, $19. It's a whole respirator. I've got one right here, actually. And it's got the UV cartridges and all that. And when you get done with it, you throw it away. You grab another one out of the bag and go to town. So if you're using it every day, all day long, they're going to say generally about 40 hours. But most everybody's not using them all day long. So it's really cool. So tonight we're going to give away... listen to this. So Trudy's father-in-law is on hospice right now because of inhaling chemicals. So he owned a body shop. So yeah, all these chemicals, all these vapors, it's very important. I spend a lot of time digesting OSHA and just OSHA rules and things like that. At the end of the day, I mean, I care about OSHA and we care about the rules because that's what guides us. But what I really am more passionate about is like Trudy's experience here, or like Chris Tucker's in Florida, where we see these guys that they're being affected negatively by something that was unsafe. And so really, that's just what we want. We want everybody to be aware of is, nobody likes to be told what to do. Nobody likes to hear, OSHA or whatever. But the thing isn't about OSHA. It's about your safety and you being able to live a long, happy life. And so that's what we want. So I agree, Andy. Full face respirators are worth it. And there's a lot of misconceptions too in the industry about what you have to wear and what you don't. And with respirators, it's a kind of a challenging thing to put your mind around, because you have assigned protective factors, and then you have permissible exposure limits. And those two kind of run like this, if you will. And so, arguably a guy on the ground that's doing a house wash could maybe get away with maybe not wearing a half face. He's got ventilation, so the exposure limit is probably less because of the ventilation they have. But specifically when we get on roofs, guys, when we get on roofs, you've got a lot of vaping off. You guys that are in hot weather states of Florida, Arizona, things like that, you're getting not only the vapor, but the heat is accelerating that as well. It's coming up right in your face. And really need to have a half face on so that you can block all those harmful things out. So, yep, Tom, that's pretty much everybody with a respirator. We use them, we hate them, and but you do need them when washing roofs. Absolutely correct. And so, thank you for making that comment. But yeah, we're going to give a case of those away to a lucky contractor tonight. And then also the other thing that we said that was probably the second biggest thing, or I don't know which one's worse, but fall protection. So we still see in our industry many guys jumping up on roofs, not having an awareness of proper ladder setup to even get on the roof. They're walking around up on a roof, and it's just it's something that really needs to change. It really shows an amateur level thinking, and so at any rate, we're going to show at the show. We're going to talk a lot about a system, what I call a ground tie system, and we'll have some fall protection kits there. And again, there's nothing wrong with anchors on the roof, but most of the time there aren't anchors on a residential roof, and so we've got to figure it out when we get there. It needs to be fast because time is money, right? That's what we're bidding, and so we want to make sure that that is something that can be set up very quickly, and we can continue to make money. So, John, thank you. Appreciate that. So we're going to also, what's really cool, and we'll introduce this at the show. We've had them for a while now, but this last year, I'm a big advocate of Petzl. I love Petzl, especially for high-rise window cleaning and things of this nature. And the Petzl has always had great harnesses, but they've been overpriced for a guy that wanted to do residential fall protection or aerial lift or anything like that. But this last year, they released their new harness out, and you can see it pictured there on the deal. And we're going to give one away tonight too. So we're going to give a case of respirators away and this new fall protection harness. But the cool thing about the harness is this: these retail at $99. So wow, a Petzl harness, which before you could never get for like under $200, and now they've got one in the fall protection industry at $99. So pretty cool. Again, we're going to give one away tonight. Brad, I appreciate roofs for sure. Notice a huge difference. Yeah, the protection needs to grow. So we appreciate everybody's comments tonight. I'm reading them as we're doing this. And again, I'm the host, I guess, tonight of this event. So Ron keeps trying to come back in. He must be having difficulties. So at any rate, hey. I'd like to welcome my guest. You guys might notice him. My guest tonight is Ron Musgraves.
Can you hear me finally?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, goodness. I have never, unbelievably, man, this is craziness. I actually had to switch computers in the middle of this.
I will say, as many interviews as I've done, this is a first. I haven't ever had the host just leave me.
Look at this. I had to go from this big, powerful iMac to this little itty bitty computer here. It's unbelievable. Let me make sure I'm muted over here so maybe that feedback will stop. But it's absolutely true. This is the craziest thing I've ever experienced.
You're muted now. Can't hear you. And there he goes again. All right. So again, unprecedented times. I'm your host, Mike Draper with Expert Safety Services. We hope to get Ron back on here. But so I tell you what, let's do this. I'm looking through the names. I don't really have a scientific way of doing this, but we are going to. Are you there, Ron?
I hope.
There it is. Hey, you know what? You got to pay that internet bill.
These are some challenges, I'll tell you that.
You got to pay your internet bill, man. You can't be down that low broadband band there.
Man, I'll tell you right now, if you knew what my internet cost me, you'd flip out.
All right, we're glad that you're back.
My flip phone froze up. My old flip phone. Well, how are we going to give these things away tonight, Mike?
I don't care. I can only do so much. I brought the gifts with me. I'm willing to give them away. You have to tell me how we're giving them away.
Why don't we just do this? Why don't we ask them, first of all, to tell us if they want the respirator or they want the harness, right? That's a full harness.
So not a respirator, a case of respirators. Because remember, these are disposable. A case of them. So these are disposable. You get done with them, you throw them away. So, yeah, tell us who wants them first. We can look in the chat thing, and then let's give a case of them away.
Let's do it.
All right. It doesn't look like anybody wants one.
They don't want one.
Oh, there they are. Tom Drick wants a case of respirators.
You know what? If Tom shares this feed, Tom's got it. He was the first to answer. Corey, Christy Powell, you're the first one to answer for the harness. Wait a minute. You got a runoff here. Antonio wants the harness too.
So we got two people that want harness. Tom Jurek is the winner of respirators. We'll send him a case. All right, he's on it. Love Tom up in Chicago, Chi-Town, just north of me.
I'm going to flip for the thing. Corey, it's between Corey. They were the first two. They almost did it identical to each other. So between Corey and Antonio, I'm going to give Antonio heads, Corey tails. It is heads. It means Antonio wins. Antonio takes it home.
All right, cool. So you guys just hit me up in Messenger or whatever. Send me your address. I'll ship them out tomorrow for you. Tom, you got a case of respirators coming. Just give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. And Alejandro, who was it?
Wants a
Antonio.
Sticker, I'll throw a link in there. You can get a pair of stickers. These are free.
How's come I didn't get any stickers yet? So now, I asked about stickers and Ron leaves. I can't believe it. So he is definitely having some internet issues tonight. So are you back?
I don't feel like I've ever left. I'll tell you, man. I'm going to find out if it's my internet or if it's that Iowa internet.
Iowa? I don't know.
Where are you at tonight?
I'm in Illinois.
Oh, you're in Illinois. Okay.
Hey, nobody on this chat thing has had any problem talking to me. They see you leaving.
No, I think it's definitely me. Something was wrong with the computer. And now that I switched computers, it's probably confused. I didn't even think it would switch, Mike. I'm actually shocked that I could switch computers.
Yeah. No, you're good now. You sound the best you have on the whole night. So
Yeah, I think I might have had something wrong for sure, but I think we got her now. It's Trudy says she can't come in, so I just want to remind these guys, 19th and 20th, we're gonna be doing a circuit training. Are you set up for 2 safety modules or only 1? 2, I believe, right?
I think 2. Yeah.
2. So they'll have the opportunity. I think you've been to circuit training, so you can understand it. There's going to be like 15 different circuits going on simultaneously, and people are going to have to choose. They're going to have to make choices. Some of the little secrets that we have, though, is because you're a prerequisite. If folks want to be certified in environmental, they're going to need to take your module. So you're going to be a busy guy with a lot of people on those 2 modules.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
There's going to be a lot of folks around you. and people are going to learn a lot of stuff. We haven't had this thing out of the cobwebs. The cobwebs got knocked out. It was almost 3.5, 4 years ago was the last time it was ever used. So it's awesome. And I don't know if I told you this, and I don't know what your commitment's like, Mike, but Trudy, because of her son being hurt, I don't know if you've heard that story, but her son got hurt. She's vowed to have the safety unit stay with her, and she wants to put on at least three fall protections a year at her place. So
yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Cool. I spend a lot of time in Florida, Trudy. So if I can help you out with them, obviously I do stay pretty busy, but if I can help you out with them, I'm more than happy to. And then you got some qualified guys too that can help out with that as well. But hey, there's a question here I want to answer. Andrew Cruz asked a question: thoughts on RZ masks for house washing? And so, look, again, this is a tough question, because the RZ masks are basically a glorified N95, right? It's not an actual filtration cartridge. I would think in most cases with house washing, you could get away with something like the RZ or an N95 respirator, a nuisance type mask. And the reason that is because of the airflow that you're going to have down on the ground. So, and it's also easier to get away from. Now, that being said, the SDS for sodium hypochlorite says you should have a respirator on. But again, it's a tough thing because assigned protective factor versus permissible exposure limit. So I'll just say it this way. Probably you're okay, Andrew. It would be best if you had a half face on, but a nuisance may work for house washing. You get up on the roof, get yourselves a half face respirator.
And don't forget, guys, and if you feel like you lost out, don't forget, I'm going to throw a link up, fill out the link. Everybody can get a set of these safety stickers, guys.
I hate to say this because the last time I asked this question, you left again, Ron. But I was just wondering why I didn't get a sticker set yet. I mean, I'm the safety guy, and I don't even have any stickers.
You're going to get a set of stickers, man. Are you going to put them on the vehicle?
Yeah, I might, or my trailer, or whatever.
Awesome, man. We're going to get them on there then.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you know about the PWNA training trailer? Just out of curiosity, I'm just curious if you sponsor it. You got anything going on it?
So I didn't sponsor it because just of conflict of interest. As many people on here may know or may not know, I'm the director of safety and compliance for the PWNA. So what we did is George Aguilar, many of you guys know him, George. He volunteered to sponsor the safety gear in the trailer, and he bought some stuff off of us to put in there. But I just felt like because I'm already kind of committed on one side to that, it wouldn't be right for me to be flying my logo all over that trailer. So that's what we did. But it's going to be a pretty cool trailer. It's been given a lot of thought, and the idea is just to do more things. There's Trudy.
I made it.
She made it. But to give, they're going to have a soft wash system in there, a pressure washer system in there, safety stuff. So basically, when you show up to a show, you can kind of roll out some real world stuff. And so yeah, we're excited about that. And we're excited too. I'm just waiting on the stupid printer. This just caught it at the holiday time, but we are releasing a industry safe practices document that'll be up on the website soon. It's done. I'm just waiting on printers to get it done, but it'll be nice. It'll be a nice resource for anybody in the industry to use and kind of have the guidelines laid out for them in these different areas of safety that maybe you guys don't want to dig in and read all the stupid OSHA jargon. So it'll be laid out pretty simple for them.
So Mike, you haven't talked about we got about 5 minutes before we start asking Trudy questions. So I'm going to let you eat up all the rest of your time. But we haven't asked you. You basically have a program or an app that helps companies of all sizes keep their compliance with the safety meetings.
Yeah.
That Shane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do.
Dogs go crazy when I'm live. I don't know.
We got everything going on tonight. Ron disappearing. I hosted the show. Now we got the dogs going nuts.
So yeah, that's a great thing. So we developed when I started going, I do a lot of safety trainings in larger companies and things like that, and I always wanted to have something available for the smaller contractors. And, I jokingly say this, and I'm not saying this arrogantly at all. I'm just saying it takes money to bring a safety trainer into your facility. So everybody out there, 2, 3 operations, 4 operations, they can't afford to have Mike Draper or other safety guys come in. So, but what are we going to do for them? Because they're still under compliantary regulations. So what do we do? So we built, and the other thing that I would do is I would go in on an annual basis, and then it was like, what happens during the next 12 months? So we built what we call the Safety Advocate Program, and it's a comprehensive safety program. It's a safety program system, and we believe in 6 pillars of safety. It's a safety manual, online trainings, which you can certify your people in, the job hazard analysis process, weekly safety meetings, which are video. They're not just PDFs that somebody sends you, and you got to figure it out. We've already figured it out for you. And then pre-work inspections, and that can be anywhere from vehicles to ladders to harnesses. All of those things are in there. And then the 6th pillar is where you verify your safety program. So it's for supervisors. Supervisors can do a rigging inspection. They can do a job site safety inspection, and it all reports back into the dashboard for a documented safety program. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. But yes, and it's very affordable. My big thing when we put that together was I wanted affordable for every single contractor out there, whether they had 1 person or 100 people. So that program is unlimited program. You can put as many employees as you want in it. It runs $59 a month. If you can't afford $59 a month for a safety program in your company, you might want to do something else. But that's it.
That's reasonable.
It's I get told all the time it needs to be higher, but I still want to take care of that small contractor. I want that small contractor to be able to afford it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they have to.
Oh my gosh.
Well, here's one of the curious things. Here's my next question. So, when they buy that, does it help them and give them like a best management practice for their customers along with their bids and things like that, so they have a huge advantage over other companies?
Absolutely. Just with the JHA process alone, and you don't have to be a whiz at JHAs, you just answer questions. But if you answer the questions, you create a JHA. We talk about this in the sales process all the time. You walk into a company with your bid and then also lay out a JHA to them. You're going to separate yourselves from 90% of other companies because they're just not thinking that way. And so as soon as you bring that up and you put that in that presentation and you sell that, it's really going to distinguish you. And everybody's always looking for these unique selling propositions and all this. Safety is one way that can happen. And not to mention that, but the other big savings is we have a contractor in Arizona, right where you're at, Ron, that is on our advocate program, has been for about 3 years now. He saved 30% on his work comp by showing that he had this documented safety program in place. So it's not just something you'd have to do and hate. It's something that actually proves some benefits, one in sales and one possible insurance savings.
Yeah, I mean, it really puts the customers, and I'm not talking about maybe the residential customer, but the commercial client in a big situation for liability. Because if they have an issue happen on site, and let's say it's a catastrophic situation, the lawyers all come out and they start looking at, okay, why did you choose this guy when you had these other 3 people with safety programs in play? Oh, you did this because they were cheaper. And all of a sudden now the liability falls completely on their shoulders. And that's not what they want to have happen.
No, and also you mentioned residential, but I would beg to differ there because in Florida right now there's a case that we're somewhat involved with. But at any rate, what happened is the contractor was paying them $10.99. There was an accident on the residence. And so, it's not necessarily going to be an OSHA fine or whatever, but they are going after that homeowner's insurance, the homeowner's insurance for the bills. So the residential person is at stake. And so when you can talk to, I always use the example of Susie Johnson. If you can say, Susie Johnson, we've walked around your house. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to protect your plants. We're going to do all these things. We're going to, and also here's our JHA because we're a safe company. We want to make sure that, What am I looking at here?
That's my safety checklist with my agreement.
Oh, okay. And so you can bring them in on it. And I was when I had my company, I'd always mention it to them. I'd say, look, I don't want to be held responsible for OSHA. That's why we're doing this. And by the way, I don't want your homeowner's insurance policy affected in any way. Now you have their attention. And when you have their attention, the next guy that comes in and follows you in, it's in a price war or whatever, he better be able to get the householder's attention as well, or else you're going to win the bid. It's just the way it is.
I was trying to upload that and put that on the screen, but I don't want to do anything right now with my computer.
No, I don't. We don't want you answering any questions. I don't even really want you talking too much, Ron, because you may get kicked off again. You're using too much bandwidth when you talk.
Hey, Mike, have you ever met Trudy? Have you met Trudy in person?
I think so, but I don't know where.
I think it was years ago in Tampa.
Maybe so. Yeah.
I think so.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
I'm almost positive I have.
You're obviously going to meet again.
Obviously.
Yes.
Trudy, tell us a little bit about the show, what you know about it, give us the reasons why you love having the safety as part of the show, even though, let's face it, nobody thinks safety is sexy. Nobody, everybody thinks it's boring, it's not needed. Tell us why you are excited to have this happen.
I mean, obviously, I always post a picture of my son's back when he fell off the roof. We had a tether in place. We had a harness. He decided to take it off to go around a crow's nest instead of going through and going on the other side. So he made the error, and I got a phone call that I never want to get. Your son fell off a roof, go to the hospital. I never want to hear that. No parent wants to hear that. So safety is big for me. I almost lost my son at 24 years old, and that would have probably killed me. Would probably gave up on this industry altogether just because of that. Also, I mean, I've seen trailers just fly off of trucks because nobody did the safety checks to make sure they were attached properly. They just assumed, oh, it's on there, it's fine. Look, make sure.
You stopped echoing.
Oh, he did. Good. I moved closer.
I muted Mike.
Oh, uh-oh. I thought it was you. I thought you were the problem today.
Wait a second. Let me see. Let's see if we get the echo back. I unmuted it.
I think the echo's back.
We got the echo back.
Yep.
Mike, you got the volume up too loud, or you got a second device maybe taking that?
I mean, I got headphones in, so I don't know how. Yeah. I mean, I can check.
We see pressure washing trailers. I've seen pressure washing trailers dragging 200 foot of hose, or gallon jugs just flying off their truck. I mean, that's safety issue for not only them, but other people that are on the road.
Well, it's making us all look bad. And then I want Mike to talk a little bit about this, because I don't think these people realize, and maybe not Mike, but if they were to join your advocacy program or come down there and get some training, and they receive a training certificate for X amount of hours or whatever it is, isn't the National Insurance Alliance giving contractors, basically discounts on their liability policy if they are in some form of safety programs?
Yeah, and what it's becoming is the insurance companies are starting to get very savvy about this, and it's almost becoming a thing where you're going to have a safety program in order to get underwritten. The work comp is
discount, but to actually be
to get insurance. Yeah. And so what we see is, there's different tiers, obviously, and different discounting that they can do. But the biggest place we see a difference in an insurance, the big impact on insurance is going to be with work comp. So depending on what state you're in, how you're paying your employees, all that stuff. But work comp is an area where you can go in and say, look, we've got this. We've had it happen in Wisconsin. We've had it happen in Arizona, where we've went in year end and did the audit that they do, and been able to prove with the safety. And it could be mine, it could be anybody's, but ours is pretty comprehensive, so we know what they're looking for. We also have a risk analysis that we have built in the background. We have logarithms built in the background where I can tell you which one of your employees is the greatest risk based on the 6 pillars that we assign them. I can tell you. And we've used it. We've used it to fire a person. I shouldn't say to fire a person. He fired himself. We used it to make a decision in a big company up in Minnesota, because what they did is they had a fall. And then we went back into the program and we looked and we said, okay, how does this employee rate with the other employees based on the safety program? Well, the logarithm showed all the other employees at like a 60%, and this employee was at a 10%. Well, he's a risk, right? And so it's not somebody that you would keep on. It could go the other way. You could make a case for the person to keep them on, because the insurance company will probably say, let's get rid of them. But you may be able to make a case, no, look, hey, Johnny has done everything he's supposed to all the way along. This was an accident today.
Yeah.
And so we like that risk factor building.
I was going to say, when, people don't realize this enough, they think about like when somebody does some incompetency in work, like they go and etch a bunch of sidewalks up, or they go out and mess some, window frames up, and there's a $50,000 replacement of windows on a house. People don't realize they're driving all of our cars. I mean, those knuckleheads are costing all of us, because we're all lumped in on this as far as the industry rates and standards go. And when we get these boneheads out there doing these kinds of things, I know a lot of contractors say, well, they got what they paid for. No customer deserves to get their home ruined or their concrete etched up. I mean, they don't understand. They don't understand what they're actually buying. They think that they're just buying Coca-Cola, and they expect it to taste like Coke. They expect the whole thing to be 12 ounces, and then they pay for something, even if it's $99, and the guy jacks the place up. Those things are not good for the industry. It's just not good for the industry.
No, absolutely not. And Patrick makes a great point in the comments here. He says it's hard to protect employees from themselves. Complacency is the killer. And I agree 100%. Again, we train a lot of guys on high-rise window cleaning, high ropes. And it's the same thing. When I look at statistics, you'll see this almost across the board. I always do it in my classes. I say, I'd like to see who's been in the business the longest. Raise your hand. Keep it up. Now, who's been in the business the least? Keep it up. 6 months. Okay, and this guy's been in 30 years. And then I'll say, you two are the most dangerous people in the industry. The 30-year-old veteran knows everything, can't tell him nothing. He's been in this business so long. And the new guy doesn't have enough exposure yet to know anything.
Yeah.
And statistically, when we look at accidents, that's where they lie.
Yeah.
It's where they're at.
It's absolutely the case. It's funny. I had a slip and fall years back at an Albertsons grocery store. And long story short, we had done depositions, gone through all that, and we were at the final table, and I was with the insurance company and my attorney and stuff like that. And the funny thing was, is they really, in their respects, they screwed up for me because we had been recorded that we were on that property that night. So we took it for granted that we were at fault. The lady that fell got really injured. She tripped and fell in the store. It was a real one. It wasn't some con artist running around, because you have the con artist people. Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely a call you don't want to get.
No, not at all. Really sorry.
But go ahead. I'm sorry, Ron.
They because they wanted to reiterate the damage again, because they were trying to determine, basically negotiate at the court for a second. And they had played that video that I had never seen. And I said, wait a minute. That's not my truck. Not my. We were washing the shopping center for the developer, the entire shopping center. The grocery store was paying an individual power washing company to do the front of the grocery store. We had happened to be in there that night, and we had gone by at the time that we had actually checked their actual film. We were away from the sidewalk for almost 3 hours in front of the store. The other guy came up later and washed it while the store was opening, and that's when the woman slipped and fell. It was wee hours of the morning. And we just made assumptions, because our record showed, hey, we power washed that whole time. So, guys, when you're out there and you're involved in these types of stuff, my word is always make sure, because coincidences like this can happen to you. And that was it. I basically I got to stand up and say, well, wait a minute, I'm not settling on anything. That's not even me.
Yeah. And Trudy brings up a great talk to me. That picture is, those are the types of things, that just keep me up at night when I see stuff like that. And we had in the window cleaning industry here a couple weeks ago, we had a death. A guy fell, and in New York City, in the Brooklyn area. And I've been involved with several of them where there have been deaths. And I'm just going to tell every one of you contractors right now, you never want to go through that in your company. I've been involved with companies that have had it happen, have had fatalities. It's not fun. It's the emotional toll that takes on you as the business owner is not fun. The going to tell a spouse, girlfriend, whatever, that Johnny's not coming home because he fell off the roof today because you didn't provide fall protection. That's not going to be a very fun conversation. So you never, ever want to have that.
Hear about the one 6 months ago in the group where he had to go home and tell his wife the 14-year-old son was dead on arrival to the hospital. That I couldn't even imagine. He had his son get up on the roof to shoot the chimney. 14 years old, kid fell off. He was dead on arrival tonight. I couldn't even fathom having to make that phone call. I'm an advocate, and I'm going to say this because we're talking about safety tonight, guys. Get rid of the gas cans. Get rid of the gas cans. It's probably the number one thing in our industry where loss of damage is probably the greatest. I've seen too many rigs go up in flames, but people have died. I had a close friend in '96. I got that call that you're talking about at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was his wife. I couldn't even. First of all, I couldn't even understand her, and I didn't even know what had happened. And then when I found out that all he was doing was he was inside of his box truck. He was pouring gas over the gas over the top of the motor. It's that little small, gas tanks over the top of the motor. It was a hot motor, and the whole truck went up because in the truck he was also storing gas. And we know back then in '96, these gas cans were even bigger bombs because they weren't vented properly. And so the whole truck was just a bomb, and it was just waiting for a spark. And once he got that spark, the whole box truck just blew up. And you guys, get rid of the gas cans. If you do anything, you don't do anything else this new year, get rid of the gas cans.
Yeah, I was involved in a similar case just this last year. Guys were at the gas station. They had, the mufflers, everything was hot. They're filling up at the gas station. They overflow the gas, goes on the muffler, goes up in flames. Now you're at the gas station in flames with, your company logo on the side. And so, it's just not a good thing. And, look, my parting comment on this, and I'll stop preaching safety tonight, but I hear it all the time at every one of these shows I go to. I'll hear it at Trudy's event. I'll hear it at the IWCA this year. I'll hear it at every single event I show up at. And that is, I'm a professional and I know what I'm doing. And so therefore I know how to walk on a roof. I'm like a cat. I can walk around. I can do this. I can do that. And I'll just say this. Gravity does not care if you've been in the business for 30 years, 1 year, anything else. It always works. It's constant. And just do not make that mental mistake.
And there's a testimonial there, Mike.
And there's one other thing, though. We provided fall protection, but you have to continue talking to your employees and just say, hey, this is what you have to do. Because just giving it to them, oh, here's a bucket. In case you're up high, you want a bucket, here's a bucket with your fall protection. If you do not teach them how to use it correctly, which is great for your class. Like this is why I'm so excited that you're here, because I know a lot of my guys down here in this area probably don't even have it on their truck. And, my son had it. He was using it and decided, oh, well, I'm just going to, defy gravity, just like you just said, and instead go walk on a metal roof that's wet with chemical. And, he slid down. Your fingers all sliced up, back broken. Thank God he's walking and he's alive, but it wasn't good. But the continuing education is what's very important also. Just because you can give them here, safety protection. But if you don't teach them how to use it, explain why they need to use it, it does no good. You need that tool in your arsenal, and you need that education.
Hey, Trudy, are you sure you want to go on with the next show?
Why?
I didn't know how you felt. I mean,
I'm fine. I can.
Good.
I mean, you can be alone with Chuck if you want.
It's good. No, please come on. Oh, I got Mike. Sorry, Mike. I had you muted.
No problem. I was just gonna reemphasize what Trudy said. It's OSHA's motto, if you will, if you want to sum it up in 3 words, and they have a little logo that says this, and it's plan, provide, and train.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not enough, just as Trudy just said, it's not enough just to hand a guy a bucket of, junk in there and say, be safe out there, guys. I give you the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're missing the component. You're planning, providing, and then training. Training is necessary on that equipment. And half these guys, are sending out these buckets, and it's just a compliantary checkbox.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a way for an owner to say, I did what I was supposed to. But those harness buckets, unless you have roof anchors up there, they're not going to work anyway. It's a 50-foot rope. You can't hardly tie off sometimes with that. So the guys will look at it and they're like, what am I going to do with this? It can't do anything with it. So yeah, Trudy's dead on there. I mean, it's not just about providing, you can't just, we give a harness away tonight. You can't just give the guy a harness and say, be safe. Well, that don't get it. You got to provide the training as well. And then retrain, right?
Mm-hmm.
You keep going on it. You keep talking about it. I like fall protection, our weekly safety meetings, to be talked about at least 4 times a year because they just need to hear it. Everybody gets a little complacent out there on the job.
Yep. When you think they got it, retrain them. That's the trick. That's the trick. Well,
yeah,
hey, Mike,
it's kind of like you.
I really appreciate you coming on, man. I'm looking forward to the 19th. Florida is a big, we've got a lot of things going on in Florida. You got the Panhandle event. Just really quickly, will you be at the event in Orlando the week before?
Yep. So I'm going to be in Florida. I kind of like Florida anyway. I spend a lot of time down there, but especially when I live in Illinois, so especially when it gets cold here, I like to go there. But I will be I'm going to be at that one. I'm going to be at yours. I've got a couple franchise shows that are going to be there. The IWCA PWNA combined show is going to be back in Orlando in February.
On the 9th of January, you're in Orlando at the Power Wash Store event. Then you're at Trudy's event at the Panhandle on the 19th and 20th. Then you'll be at the IWCA PWNA joint venture 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Yep. Okay. And then again, there's another event after that one. So yeah.
Is that AC's event?
No, I'm not being at AC's. I think Jamie has an event.
Okay, Jamie's on the 24th and 25th in Orlando. That's right. They're at the SeaWorld Resort Hotel, same one we were at.
So that's why I'm just living in Orlando.
You are. You're going to be there a long time. Hey, man, I just want everybody to know that, man, because safety doesn't have any borders really in any factions as far as who you are. Like you said, doesn't matter. Gravity doesn't distinct organization, a person, age, young or old. Accidents can happen, as we've proven here. We've had old guys fall off roofs that had lots of experience, young guys. You mentioned earlier today when the guys are like, I'm a professional, I know what I'm doing. And then you see them in these videos walking backwards on the roof. You're like, oh man. The number one thing you don't do when you're on a roof. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. I think this event, I'm hearing a lot of buzz about the Panhandle event, and I'm thankful for people like Trudy. These events, we see, and I see it right on our screen right now. Free event. Yeah, Trudy's like, it ain't free to me. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of effort.
Can I tell you that a guy called today and said, man, I'm ready to have a free event, Ron. Are you going to come up and take care of this? It's like, okay, first of all, I want you to know that the typical small event is $3,500 to $6,000 just to have a get together at your shop. He goes, what do you mean, Nick? Well, what would something like the Panhandle event cost? I was like, and when I told him the number, they're like, what?
Yeah. So I really appreciate, people like Trudy that are willing to put in the effort and time and put on one of these events, because it's not free to her.
No.
And so hopefully some contractors will support her.
And the
I know they will.
contractors shouldn't understand that it's not free either, because all the volunteers are going to spend $1,000, $1,500. You put all that together, this whole show costs $40,000 or $50,000. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you're coming down there, but it costs money. You're doing this for free, but it costs you money to come out, and we appreciate you coming out. We appreciate all the instructors, all the teachers, and all the speakers, man. They're all coming out on their own dime, and it's virtually thousands and thousands of dollars. Not to mention the money that Trudy and Shane are putting up. But this venue is a grand venue. It holds 1,100. We won't have 1,100 this year, guys. But we seem to be pushing, and we'll know here in the next couple of weeks, because we all know a lot. We already have like over 400 signed up. But we know that typically the last 2 or 3 weeks is when the real rush comes in. So we'll know.
Yeah.
We'll start to know the real numbers and see how busy we really get. We can't handle 1,100.
No, it'll be good. I mean, from my standpoint, generally at one of these shows, and I'm very aware of this, 5% of contractors there will give a care about safety. It's sad, but it's reality. But I don't really care if we help one guy next year to go in his, just one person, be safer and change their business. I've won.
If you keep one guy from a catastrophic fatality, we won.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's all.
So thanks a bunch, Trudy, for having. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming out, Mike. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank
We'll
you.
talk to you guys soon. All right.
Hey, we're gonna finish this up, Trudy.
Yes.
Now that the echo's gone.
Yes. Sounds great.
Man, I'm telling you, 19th and 20th, guys, National Cleaning Expo. You can go to Panhandle Power Wash event, click on Trudy's pretty face, and boom, it'll take you right to the registration link as well. You can find out information about the event there. We do have several hundred. We have over 300 companies and over 400 attendees right now. So it's crazy. We don't even have a solid number yet, but we will have a solid number. We haven't done a count. What was it? 2 weeks ago, we did an official count. We were pushing 3 companies away from 300 or something like that. I think it was 297. So I can't imagine with the registration coming in 10 or 15 a day, some days more, some days less. We're right on track now for, I think what, 5, we said 550 or something like that. However, though, I want to tell everybody this. And Trudy knows this too, because Trudy's been to some smaller events. One of the best events I ever had was only 15 people in Denver, Colorado. It was a great event. Why? Because the people that were there learned. And what Mike was saying, 5% of the people are going to come and be interested in safety. I can tell you right now, 1% of the people actually, and Trudy's one of them, she came to an event 15 years ago, 1% of the people actually take what they learned from the event and put it into action and make things happen. So come and be that person. Be the person that comes to the event and puts it in action. Because, Trudy, if you'd have come to the event and never did anything, would you be where you're at now?
Nope.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Guys, we're coming back in like 7 or 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Maybe we'll do 6-10, or actually it would be 8-10 year or 9-10 year time, right? No, 8-10 year time.
8 my time.
8 year time. 8-10 year time. Let's just say 8-10. Can you make it to 8-10?
Yep.
Give me a few minutes. Guys,
Okay.
Get registered. We'll be back. We're going to be back just to talk some more about the event. Who knows? Maybe somebody else will come in. We're going to have more prizes. You know what? I'm crazy tonight. I'm going to give away some Kims. I'm going to give away another cookbook show. We're going to give away some prizes. So come back in 20 minutes and talk with me and Trudy. And Chuck's going to join us too. And we're going to stop Chuck. Chuck is not talking about safety. He's not going to do it. All right, we'll see you guys. We'll be back a little bit. Ron Musgrave's